Another thing I wanted to take the time to show you guys is how to use the expand tool. So you might be wondering what this is for. A few of you ran into this issue with the past assignment with different shapes. The expand tool takes something that's made of a stroke and actually turns it into an outline shape object. So I just created a couple things here, just some random shapes to show you this demo. And you can see here I have this starburst shape that's made from a stroke. If I reversed it to a fill, it would look like that, and the stroke on it when I go back is really thin. But I decided I wanted it to be this really thick stroke width, just like this one, which is a circle. So you could make a circle similarly to this, where you have a shape, and then you copy, paste in front, scale it down, color it white, and you essentially have the same shape. But then look, if you wanted a shape like this behind it, you actually can't see through that shape. So you would do a couple of things. You would take this and you would go to your Pathfinder in your shape modes. You could divide it, and then you have to ungroup it and delete that middle so you get this shape. And this is the same thing created out of a stroke, and now this one's a shape. But you could actually take this stroke and turn it into a shape just like this. And the reason you would want to do that, convert these lines into shapes, is because if I were to take this entire design, and let's say it's a logo, for example, this is a logo I've created, and now I need to scale it down to fit on something. Those stroke widths that I have designated here stay the same size. So if we view this in outlines, you can see same exact shape, it hasn't changed, but the stroke widths on this are still set at this 25 point. And so when you scale it down, it doesn't scale. So that's where you would want to expand your shapes. So you would select these two shapes that are currently strokes, and you go to Object, Expand, and you'll see here I fill in stroke or checked, and you hit OK. And that actually turns these strokes, and they are expanded now to shapes. And that way, when I scale these down to tiny shapes, they actually retain the shape of the form instead of that stroke getting in the way. You might also do this with letters, and you will discover that when you're working on your assignment this week. When you're working with letter forms, all letters, let's create outlines, have a basic shape. Now these automatically, you can see if I drag this behind it, already have these inside shapes. So that's where I think I show you in your video for project 2 that you can use compound path and release it. And so you do that, and here you go. Now you just have basic letter form shapes if you delete what's inside those compound paths. And then you could even turn this into a stroke shape and adjust it. So letters all have thicknesses just as if you were using the stroke tool, but they have been expanded into shapes like this. So that's just a quick tip. It's really helpful if you're scaling your art up and down and you're using strokes as any kind of design element. You will need to expand those strokes so that your art scales appropriately. All right, there you go. Hope that helps.